the Pod Network Entertainment.
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, a.k.a. Austin Creed.
Welcome to the big time!
Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
You know your damn role and shut your damn mouth.
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Cobb.
I have to finish the story.
We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
Hello, my name is Ilya Dragunov, the Czar.
Bang! The sniper is shooting you down. This is TMDK's Robbie Eagles, and you are listening to the Wrestling Podcast.
You're watching and listening to the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. Stan C, Romoran, Chino Liao, and Emil Nate on an audio-only episode. So dapat pala sinabi ko, you're listening to the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. Whatever, my brain is mush. It's been a whirlwind of a weekend. I hope na you guys are not dealing with mushy brains para hindi lang ako yung sabog dito sa podcast natin. But it's fine. It's an audio-only episode, so we'll do our best to power through. And before we get to our picks of the week, syempre marami tayong mga events na mangyayari. Let's tell you about the first one. It's Hobby Stadium, or it's going to be happening at Hobby Stadium. It's the Wrestling Quiz Night. We're bringing it back, and it's Chino's baby.
I'm preparing a bunch of questions for this quiz night, trying to make it as interesting and diverse as possible. Multiple ways to multiple ways to win and answer the questions. Di lang siya based on the wrestling know-how. Kailangan well-rounded ka din.
Damn, what else is going to be on this game?
You will find out on September.
Kundi lang pala wrestling yung cover.
No, it is wrestling. Trust me, it is all wrestling.
Sabi mo,
pero hindi lang siya patalinuhan ng wrestling, if you get my drift. So, there will be multiple ways
do people gotta know how to wrestle?
You will find out on September 23.
Curious today, huh?
Yes, you'll find out on September 23. That is a Saturday. Join us and the fine people of Hobby Stadium. That's along Doña Hemedy corner, E. Rodriguez Street in New Manila. So come by. Tickets are 350 pesos. It comes with an iced tea and an opportunity to walk away with amazing prizes from our partners. Meron dyang figures from correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Everybody's toy store.
Nah, you're wrong. We're gonna correct you. So the figure is from Hobby Line Toy Store.
Okay.
And then we've got shirts from Everybody's Toys and Collectibles. Tapos si Hobby Stadium nag-sponsor din ng WWE trading cards. It's an entire box, and they've got GCs.
It's a blaster pack. Yes.
They've got GCs from Hobby Stadium as well. So we have a lot of prizes. And the best part about the way we do quiz nights these days is you can come in and play on your own. Pwede ring tag team kayo. Pwede kayong trio. Pwede kayong 4-man, 5-man stable. As many as you want.
Kung wala kayong hatak, we will put you together with a team. Or kung gusto nyo mag-solo trip. Yeah. If you want to be a one-man army, go ahead. Feel free to do that. Basta everybody and anybody who's interested in the world of wrestling, thinking na madami kayong alam sa wrestling, come by. We'll have some fun on September 23.
And if you don't want to play, you can come by as well and just hang out. Partake in the vibes of the wrestling fans. Tapos you might want to have some of the very fine food and drink by Hobby Stadium, which we can guarantee is really, really great. Wala, tambay-tambay, pwede rin yun. If you don't want to play, that's cool. If you don't want to,
nung payback ko lang nalaman na may tapsilog pala sa Hobby Stadium. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah. It's similar as well to the fair sa Skinny Mike. So, ganun din yung menu nila. So, if you don't want the pressure of winning these awesome prizes from our quiz night, okay lang din. As long as you get to hang out with us, I have guaranteed that at least one MWF wrestler will be there to hang out, not to play. So, it's going to be a fun night for the wrestling community here in Manila.
All right. So that's happening in a couple of Saturdays. But we also have our regular ganap over on the Wrestling Podcast Patreon community, which Emil will be happy to tell you about.
All right, so all you got to do is subscribe to our Patreon to enjoy the Wrestling podcast at patreon.com/wrestling podcast for as low as $5 or 260 to 270 pesos in our local currency. Of course, you'll get benefits of joining. You'll get benefits by joining our Patreon. We have our Discord community where you can interact with your fellow podcasts and talk to us about anything. Of course, you can talk to us about wrestling. You can also talk to us about music, fashion, other sports, memes, and all of that, everything and anything under the sun. You will also have yung sa pasabais na ginagawa na namin very differently over the last couple of months. But if you join our Patreon, you'll get some friendly rates sa service fees sa pinapatong namin. And also, you'll also get the review content of weekly wrestling shows courtesy of Rowen ASH. And by subscribing to our Patreon, you're supporting everything that we do here on the podcast. So again, please subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/wrestling podcast.
Yeah, saying
All
hey
right.
to our latest subscriber. He wanted to subscribe just to support us. So you don't have to subscribe then just for the benefits. If you just want to support what we do and support local wrestling content, you can do that as well. Our latest subscriber is none other than our wrestling lolo from the US, Mr. Wayne. I don't actually know what his last name is, but he comes
Or baka
by.
Wayne yung last name, my first name siya. Di rin natin alam.
Di ba initials yung first name niya sa Facebook?
I don't know,
so,
man. But
like,
Chief Wayne is our latest supporter on the Patreon. So thank you so
sir.
much.
Thank you, sir.
He just likes supporting local wrestling. I'm not sure exactly what his connection is here, but he loves it. He loves coming by here. He loves flying to the Philippines every now and then and watching the local fair. So please, say hi if you ever see him here in the show. I don't think he's hard to miss.
Yes.
And
He's hard to miss.
give him some love for flying all the way here to watch us. So thank you again, and thank you once more for your support.
Yes, sir. We acknowledge you indeed.
Yes.
All right. It's a pick of the week special. So as always, we're going to get into some of our favorite matches or wrestling content from the week. And parang advanced na rin siya, advanced conversations na rin siya heading into our live stream on Thursday. We're going to start with Rowen's pick. And he went with a video from Cultaholic's YouTube channel. And I've actually been following Cultaholic's YouTube channel for years now. It's good material when I need something that I don't need to think about. Tapos makakatulog lang ako afterwards. It's fun stuff. What he picked though was their video which they published yesterday on their 10 worst WWE championship designs. So Rowen picked this one because he's a belt guy. He loves collecting championship belts, lalo na if you've seen his replicas in real life. So he loves these yung mga ganitong klaseng content about wrestling belts. And he actually agrees with the 10 designs that they chose and named the worst from whatever WWE has put it out there. Ang qualms niya lang is that he would rearrange it. Like, he would probably put some of the championships na nasa upper tier, meaning 1 to 5 worst, bababa niya sa 6 to 10 kasi for him, hindi raw ganun kapangit. Like the John Cena US Spinner Championship, which I'm going to have to agree with Rowen here. I actually liked it when I first saw it as a kid. The Divas Championship for him is not that pangit daw because of how it sparkles, because of the cubic zirconias, which if you don't know what that is, yung parang mga replica jewels. He also agrees with yung YouTube video na to, putting the Universal Championship, the OG one from 2016, and the Tommy Dreamer Hardcore Championship being among the ugliest talaga. So, ayun. What did you guys think about this one?
I agree with some of the titles on the list, especially the tag team titles. The first version of
Yung penny belts.
Yeah, the penny belts. I really hated that when I started watching wrestling. And then when I found out that there were other belts from the past na ganun kaganda, sobrang nanginayang ako na that was the tag team titles currently. And the one title I gotta disagree with the video is the ECW title, because I actually love that silver title. Like, maybe it has a bad rep because of what eventually happened with WWE's version of ECW, but that belt in itself, sobrang unique niya, and I really liked it. So I don't know why. I know why it's on this list, but I could have argued it shouldn't have been on this list.
The thing with videos like this is it's very subjective din kasi, diba?
Yep.
Like, what people say on Cultaholic may not be necessarily be what we agree with here on the podcast. Although after seeing the videos, tama naman din si Rowen because there are belts there that I would disagree with being on there. But diba, like the spinner belt, I actually also like. Used to have a replica of that. Ano ba ba? Yung Divas belt, I also really like because it's effeminate in the right way, diba? Hindi siya engendered in the sexualized manner that we've come to know the Divas division for. So at least yun, nagustuhan ko yung aesthetic na pinakita nila with all the other belts. But at the end of the day, it's again very subjective. So may mga things talaga na hindi ka fully 100% agree with eh. So I don't know. It's like for me, there were things that I liked about it. There were also things that I didn't like about it. And I guess that's what the point of the video was.
Okay. When did we start doing Picks of the Week? When did we start doing this? 2020?
3 years
Pandemic?
ago? Yeah.
Live stream tayo?
Yep.
Okay, this is the first time I'm going to say something about a pick, and I fucking hate it. I fucking hate this pick. Not because Rowen didn't pick a match or a segment, but because he picked something that was super subjective. And you're going to expect all of us to agree with it? To agree with this content? No, I fucking hate it. And I'm not just saying that because they put the spinner belt on this list. I fucking hate, Jesus Christ, I hate this pick so much. I didn't even finish it. Like, why am I being forced to digest this subjective take? I don't like watching anyone else's wrestling opinions. Fuck that. Super fuck this, fuck that, fuck Cultaholic, fuck you. You can, I built my house on this fuck you. My entire house is powered by this fuck you.
That's a heels reference. That's a heels reference for those of you who don't get it.
It's funny though because you don't hindi kita inaaway Roa, pero as somebody who says that
we're all good.
You're expressing opinions here on a weekly basis.
We are all good. The five of us, yes, even Rowan sometimes we're all good. But this particular pick, this particular list, why did you make me try to discuss this? Like, this is someone else's opinion. This is someone else's opinion on championships, some of them which I really like. And what? For what? For this. Jesus Christ. You know naman. I don't begrudge Rowan because this is still wrestling content, but this is not wrestling content that is objective. At least yung kay Maven was his actual lived experiences. Diba?
Yeah.
Diba? So there's that. So yun lang naman. That's all I gotta say about this.
Again, there is a reason why I go to sleep watching these videos.
Diba?
It calms me down, and I don't have to think about it.
I mean, also,
it's white noise.
Yeah, again, subjective nga to. So it's really, it's neither here nor there for me.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think we can move on after that Roma rant. Let's go to your pick, Chino. This one is from the previous episode of Monday Night Raw. So we're recording this Monday night Manila time, by the way. So we haven't seen this week's Raw at the time of recording.
Yes, so pasok to. And I like it because it's an acknowledgement of a meme. It's the Miz TV featuring John Cena. How long have we had to stand? Have we had to stand and watch John Cena be invisible in our collective pop culture realities, diba? The running joke of Cena literally cannot be seen has been like a pop culture mainstay for all of us. And for me, as somebody who has had to hear that joke constantly, to actually see the company where it originated from acknowledge it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is probably the only time that they've actually acknowledged it. Diba? Is amazing to me.
No, like, are you gonna count the games? Because the video games did Invisible Cena.
The video games, sure.
I get what Chino is trying to say now. In a story, in an actual canon event, in the company stories, they actually acknowledged it.
Yes. Yun, diba? Kasi never naman nila in-acknowledge eh. It was just a catchphrase that Cena threw out there to earn money and whatnot. Pero the fact na in-acknowledge the Miz yun, na ginawa niyang invisible si Cena, tapos binigyan pa niya ng skull-crushing finale, most entertaining 3 minutes of my life and of last week. Ang ganda.
Ano pangalan? The camera work pangalan eh. Just to be able to pull it off as if John Cena were actually there. Doon ako na-impress the most eh. Kasi sobrang effort yun for the camera operator's part.
Kasi, di ba, kahit sila Michael Cole and sila Wade, they were calling out the fact that the camera guy can probably see him, but we can't see him. Di ba? Ang ganda eh. Kasi di ba, we see this a lot in the indies, the Invisible Man versus Invisible Man matches, di ba? Where everybody's in on the joke, di ba? But at least it's like an upscale version of that. Kasi may basis siya, and it's not just some, insider indie thing na gagawin, di ba? It was actually a thing that has some roots in the story. So I'm maybe I'm over analyzing it, but it was just very entertaining for me.
I was watching Raw Tuesday night while working, so I just have it on the background, and I didn't even realize that they were playing this joke until like 3 minutes in, where nung pagtingin ko sa screen, okay, I get the joke. It's an invisible. It's you can see. They're finally acknowledging the joke. It was so, and then that moment where Miz he did the skull crushing finale on Cena. Sobrang tawa ako ng tawa. Like, I think only Miz can pull that off, honestly. Kasi sobrang galing din niya mag-improvise. And again, we are all in on the joke. So that made it more fun watching that segment on Raw.
It's definitely one of those things now. You're either gonna hate or love. Hate because it's obviously super absurd, but I think more people loved it because it's an actual acknowledgement, as we said, of the Cena meme and Miz taking it to its absurd extreme. The only concern I had was like, kung ma-injure pa si Miz doing a face bump.
No!
Doing a face bump. A practice bump, literally, because this is the type of thing you do in training. It will all be for the punchline, and I don't know if it was gonna be
for the lols.
If it was gonna be worth it, but it was funny. He did really commit to it, and I think only at this point the Miz can pull off an absurd segment like that and have it make sense. Within the context of his character and the story that they're telling. So,
I mean, this is the same guy who had a stunt double for an entire year.
Oh, you're back.
But at least the stunt double he was working with, and then the stunt double was the one doing the shit for him, the absurd shit for him. So that's all good. I don't see how you can hate this, because unless you're a super edgelord who thinks that AEW is the best, because they definitely don't do shit like this on Dynamite, if you know what I mean. So that's fun. It's a great pick. I like this.
All right. Let's move on to another pick from Monday Night Raw. This one's from Emil.
All right, so my pick of the week goes out to the main event of Monday Night Raw last week. It was the third match between Chad Gable and Gunther, this time for the Intercontinental Championship. And I love how they treated the match by featuring vignettes of all the past Intercontinental Champions throughout the show. And then they would always, kasabay nun, they would cut to promos by Gunther and Chad. And those promos they did were really good. And this match is also noteworthy because by winning it, Gunther now holds the record for the longest Intercontinental Championship single title reign of all time. And looking back, I really wish that this match could have been at Payback kasi I got bothered by so many commercials. Kasi ako, when I'm watching replays, I skip commercials. So I don't really watch the picture-in-picture. So sobrang nabitin ako. I'm sure the match dun sa arena went for like solid 20 to 25. Pero because of the commercials, watching it on TV, it felt like only 10 to what?
It was only actually the TV version was only around 11 minutes. So
11 minutes na.
Given commercials, it's under 20.
Yun, so sobrang nabother ako with the amount of commercials that were fit into the main event. I felt like it was too short. It was still good. Like it didn't take to how great the third match was, and for a second I really thought Gable was gonna win when he did the Chaos Theory. Pero, Gunther still retained. And it's probably the best David versus Goliath match I've seen ever since Bryan versus Lesnar from Survivor Series 2018. And at this point, put the rocket strap on Chad Gable. We've been saying this over and over again on the show. He's eventually going to be a main eventer someday, I hope. We hope. And, he has that it factor kasi for me, and he can easily be a main eventer in a year or two if given the proper opportunity. So
Baka kailangan niyang i-blindside si Rollins because he also knows about Seth's back.
at this point, everyone knows what says that.
No, I agree with you, Emil, na medyo nakakabitin yung match because of the commercial breaks, because they did have 3 segments for the main event. Then again, I kind of see why Triple H left this match off of Payback and just put it on Raw. Kasi at least by giving it the main event spot on Monday Night Raw, you can give it the main event treatment talaga na there was build-up heading into that episode. And then yun talaga yung central point ng show, diba? As you mentioned, you had the tributes to the former Intercontinental Champions sprinkled out throughout the episode. So it really made the title match seem like a bigger deal. Whereas if it were on Payback, at best, it would be like in the middle of the show, or maybe it would be the opener. Diba? Hindi siya, it wouldn't have the main event treatment that I guess the match and the story has rightfully deserved because of the way it's been built. Plus the fact na may implication na kung nanalo si Gunther, yun na, matik na he'll break the record. So I'm gonna have to push back there and say na I like the decision to keep it on Raw as the main event.
Yeah, I've gotten used to commercial shortened matches. Like it is a thing. I mean, it is one of those things that you learn to live with as a WWE fan. Because that's AEW was really the one who pioneered the whole picture-in-picture thing before WWE started doing it, and because of that, I have come to expect the matches happening, getting cut short when somebody goes to the outside and then you return to TV with someone in a rest hold, diba? So that's normal for me after 20 years or so.
Yeah, or pagbalik mo, diba, nasa table na siya.
Yeah, exactly. Diba? So that's not a big deal with me. What matters most is that they made it work. Like they still made it hot. Even after they came back from break, and there were only 5 or 7 minutes left in the final segment. So that's what matters about it, that they're able to hook you at that final stretch, which they really did. And it goes to show you that even though it's not like your NXT UK main event with Ilya Dragunov, Chad Gable still pulled his weight, and Gunther really made him look good. And it's one of those things. It's like I said, they're never going to give Gable the win here, at least on this week, because they got a Honky Tonk Man record to break, diba? But it's also one of those things. Gable did step up. Triple H did give him the ball because isa siya sa mga bata niya from Black and Gold, right? And like I said on the captions when I posted about this match, Chad Gable is going to be a big deal someday because of this and after this.
Yeah, Chad Gable. I just want to pay particular attention to Chad Gable, especially his acknowledgement of the story. Yung in-acknowledge nila yung journey niya from Alpha Academy, diba, by bringing up Jason Jordan. That to me was a nice touch because we haven't seen Jason Jordan in a long time. And the fact that he goes on TV and they talk about their shared history together, that was a nice touch for me. Parang may special treatment talaga yung journey ni Chad Gable dito sa story na to.
Yeah, so very much worthy of a pick of the week selection from all of us here on the podcast. Thank you, Emil, for showing love to Chad Gable versus Gunther in that main event, and congrats again to Gunther for breaking the Honky Tonk Man's record as the longest running Intercontinental Champion of all time. All right, mabilis na to. So let's not go to break. Let's get to our last couple of picks of the week here. And we're going to go with mine, which is from NXT. And it's the match between Butch and Axiom as part of the Global Heritage Cup. So this is one of those matches na caught me by surprise kasi they did explain naman that draws will come into play dito sa tournament na to kasi nga may ranking system, diba? Kind of like the G1 in NJPW. But for them to actually pull it out like this early into the tournament, I was like, all right, that's good. You're not messing around here. And it was great kasi Butch is from the main roster. So in effect, dapat parang mas may status na siya compared to everyone on NXT. So it would be kind of weird to have him lose agad to Axiom, especially early in the tournament. But then again, Axiom's also kind of a bit of a threat in NXT, diba? He's not like one of the big stars, but he's also not a slouch. So how do you protect both guys? By giving them the draw. And the way that they pull it off was so good na parang naging nail biter siya towards the end. Yung tipong, I believe it was Vic Joseph who brought up na, last 3 minutes or last 2 minutes na lang, diba? And because of the announced length ng bawat match na 12 minutes lang, that sense of urgency really lent more drama to the finish of the match.
The
So
announcer announced the last 2 minutes.
Okay. Si Alicia Taylor pala yung nag-announce. So, if you're aware of these things, alam mo na 12 minutes yung time limit, you're listening to Alicia Taylor's announcement, it really adds yung that extra sense of pressure heading into the final moments of the match, which I really enjoyed, especially when Butch and Axiom got down to the nitty-gritty. So I really love how nagamit nila yung time limit draw in the context of this tournament, and it added more drama to I believe Group B, itong sina Butch and Axiom, so, or whatever group they're in. It added drama to their standings. So good stuff here from NXT.
And this match was really good as well. And I'm a fan again. I'm a fan of the G1. I'm a fan of that style, that format of tournaments. And again, those time limit draw matches, there's something special to them because it rarely happens. Plus, you'll get that the last 2 or last 3 minutes, so you can see both wrestlers may sense of desperation on both sides to finish their opponent off, and it can lead to magic. And it happened here with both Butch and Axiom, and yun yung hook ng ganitong tournament, to see yung mga time limit draws, something that you really don't see regularly on wrestling TV every week. So this was a really great match. And this tournament has been really good so far. Like, I've been keeping tabs on the Global Heritage Invitational, and this was, I think, the match of the tournament so far. Pero I think I'm looking forward more to Butch versus Tyler Bate on a future episode of NXT. But so far, this is by far my match of the tournament.
Yeah. So the thing about the draw is that they also did a draw early in the G1 this year. It involved one of the LA Dojo kids. I can't remember who.
Narita and
Coughlin?
Shota.
Or Connors. Okay.
Shota.
Okay, so Narita technically still an LA Dojo kid. So that's probably where they got the draw idea from. My thing about this match is, if by any chance your first exposure to Peter Dune was his time as Butch on SmackDown, then this is the match to watch. Because even Michael Cole referenced it on SmackDown last week. So you got to know what they have been making us miss out, or the rest of you miss out. Because Pete Dunne wrestling on NXT is way different from Butch wrestling on SmackDown. And that's the kind of thing I really, really missed when I saw this. And even though it was 12 minutes, so the time isn't the thing that's that is a factor here. Because you can wrestle the same amount of time on SmackDown and it would still be main roster TV style, as opposed to here. It's the same 12 minutes, but they allowed Pete Dunne that 12 minutes to cook in his old Pete Dunne way. So nakakamiss talaga yun. It's like a warm, fuzzy feeling watching him wrestle like that again. I don't know about you guys, but it was really nice to see. And now I'm actually kind of rooting for him to win the whole thing. There are a lot of other people who could win this. Like a lot of this pool is an okay, are okay contenders for Noam Dar. Pero now more than ever, how are you going to let the main roster guy lose the whole thing, diba? So that's what I'm hoping for, especially after this match.
Yeah, you guys covered everything that I wanted to say. So parang sa akin lang it was a little surprising that they pulled the trigger on the draw. I didn't expect that, but then now thinking about it, after hearing everybody's thoughts and then replaying the match in my head, parang yun, it makes sense story-wise kasi ang ganda pa rin ng match regardless of how it ended. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they pull off with more draws down the line, if they do so in the run of this tournament. Yeah.
I hope they don't spam it though, kasi 'di ba pag naging draw city na yung tournament, 'di ba? I mean, there aren't a lot of matches, so I doubt that they'll even do that to begin with. But I'm just saying, I doubt that they'll go spam city on us.
The thing about the format is 12 minutes is actually pretty short, even though it feels long for us watching TV. So if they do a lot of, or more than one draw at least, medyo explainable pa rin siya. Kasi what if, like it's like Axiom or Pete Dunne, diba? What if you can't beat Pete Dunne in that time because he's just so good, diba? You only really have 12 minutes. And for a lot of people, that might not be enough. So I get it if they do that. But I understand as well na, syempre, you can't spam this finish or else it will not feel special anymore. But, if it does come to that, the format will save them.
Yeah. It's still a tournament at the end of the day, so I trust naman na we'll actually get stuff like we'll actually have a win-loss record for each wrestler na hindi puro draw lang yung nangyari sa mga match nila. Plus, there are only 4 people per group, diba? There's only 3 matches pag ni-round robin mo yun. What are the chances na puro draw yun lahat? So, also kind of silly when you think about it. All right, let's close this out here with Rose pick, which is from Collision over the past weekend.
Yes, sir. Post CM Punk Collision is doing fine. I don't know if it's great just yet, but it's doing okay. It's the main event. The semifinals for the World Title Eliminator Tournament. Samoa Joe versus Penta El Cerro Miedo. Your boy TK was at a Lucha Underground kick last Saturday, if you saw the whole show. But Samoa Joe also technically main evented both nights of AEW last week. So that's pretty big for him. I think he is getting one of those flavor of the month pushes, if you will, from Tony Khan, but also deserved naman kasi. More than anything, ever since we talked to Paul London, I felt like I've been rediscovering my love for, yung medyo old school style, or at least the slower style. Not to disparage the modern style, which we all have come to love, but there is something different then. And this is a nice example of that. The thing I like most about this is that yung sensibilities ni Penta of being, the lucha libre or the American indie guy that spams a lot of stuff was really curved because he was in there working with Samoa Joe, who is a pretty old school, big boy type of wrestler who has to change up his style because he's not technically like the other guys, crowding around, that level he's in. So I enjoyed Penta's working a slower style. He got to show off more of his charisma, his character work. He also worked this nice little story where he was able to scout yung now infamous Joe trope of him walking away from dives.
Yeah,
he did that twice, and then on the third time he was baited into falling for it. So that was a nice story that they worked in there.
I love that part too.
Yeah. So it was really, really great. It was such a great main event. And I think for those who tuned into Collision during the CM Punk era, where they were promised, the more old school style involving Punk and FDR and the like, I think they're in good hands with guys like Joe and Bryan Danielson, who is rumored to be the next guy to be built for Collision to be built around. So, yeah, really good stuff. Joe had a great couple of main events, also versus Jeff Hardy. Talagang iba yung intense style niya. It's really fun to watch, and it's a nice, especially after the whole couple of big meaty men slapping meat matches back in All Out. So really good stuff.
This was a great way to end Collision as well. I just wish the crowd could have been more into it.
Yeah.
Kasi notice ko medyo napagod na yung crowd at that point. I don't know if they were taping shows before.
They're taping ROH after that. So good luck
yeah,
ROH.
So medyo nakakano yan. Medyo nakapagod din yun. Pero yeah, I wish the crowd could have been more in it. It was a great match. I love again that spot where Penta outsmarted Samoa Joe twice, pero on the third time he got caught and he went through that table. Yeah, again, he went through that table. And again, I am loving this Samoa Joe push. I don't know if this is gonna lead to him winning the title because he still technically still holds the ROH, so he still has business to take care of on that side of things. So, but yeah, it's this push is well deserved and well overdue to them. And Penta is really a reliable hand. I wish he could get some singles push on the line, pero whenever you need a great match, he can fit in against anyone and everybody. So, again, kudos to both of them for that really great match at Collision.
Yeah, no, I did agree with everybody's thoughts. Sorry, lag lang ako ng konti. But I agree with everybody's thoughts, and I agree that it was a good match. Yeah, I mean, everybody covered what they wanted to say, and I will just second everything else.
I have a question about the the world title eliminator tournament. Di na siya blind, no? My issue with this tournament is something that Dave Meltzer actually brought up last week sa podcast niya or whatever video on WON radio. Thank you. Na bakit yung contestant sa tournament parang pinulot lang kung saan kasi wala nang ranking sa AEW, di ba? Yep. But it also disregards the fact that a lot of people won really big matches at All In and at All Out, and yet they're nowhere near this tournament. So, nasan si Will Ospreay or nasan si Hangman Page? He just won the Battle Royal, that type of deal. So, I kind of agree with that criticism of this tournament. I mean, as fun as it is, na you get to mix it up, you get to see Jeff Hardy and Samoa Joe and Roderick Strong, and I get that they're serving the bigger purpose of getting us to MJF and Samoa Joe and getting us to Roderick Strong being in a prominent position. It also disregards the bigger stories you literally had just days before on these big pay-per-views.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with that. Once somebody pointed it out, definitely agree with this. You're not the only, or you two are not the only people to point that out. And I hope it's one of those things that, even though my hopes are low, I hope it's one of those things that Tony Khan listens to and hears. Because there is logic to this complaint. There is logic to this concern. It's not one of those things that, you're nitpicking. But I mean, like, it's a world championship tournament. You want to see the top guys, even though these top guys are involved in something else. So I think it wasn't that hard to weave the stories that the other top guys are currently in with this tournament. So I think it was a matter of TK not knowing how to do that, and TK just wanting to give other guys a spot because, I don't know, maybe he thought he wasn't giving them enough time lately. I don't know. But, it doesn't always work that way. It shouldn't always work that way.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, go.
Saka diba dati merong, I don't know if they still follow it now, pero dati merong ranking system.
Yeah, no, they disregarded it because TK did not want to go through the trouble of, respecting his own rankings.
Yeah, so like that could have been useful, pero like
there could have been qualifying matches like
diba? Yeah. They're not using it anymore, so that's bad. That's sad.
Mm-hmm. So there, if anyone or no one has any comments not to add, then those are our picks of the week. Just a quick recap. Once again, there's Rowen's pick from Cultaholic, yung 10 worst WWE Championship designs, which Ro vehemently rejects as a pick. There's Chino, who picked Miz TV with John Cena, and we say that with air quotes because we could not see him. Emil picked Chad Gable versus Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship, which main evented Raw. I picked Butch versus Axiom, yung first round match nila sa Global Heritage Cup, and Ro picked Samoa Joe versus Penta El Cero Miedo from this past weekend's AEW Collision. And as always, kung meron kayong dadagdag sa picks of the week, you know where to find us. Leave a comment on Facebook when this goes up, or hit us up on TikTok and on Twitter. It is at Wrestling2XPod. We'll catch you on Thursday for our regular Wrestling podcast live stream, 7 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and on TikTok. We've got a lot to break down once again, but in the meantime, if you want to talk to us individually on social media, it is at Rowiswar, at Chino Supersized, at EML_Meister, at Monday Night Rowen, and at _Stan C for me. For the show, it is at Wrestling Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Spotify. And on Twitter and TikTok, it is at Wrestling2XPod. Thank you very much to Babyface producer Jasper and the rest of our producers over at the Pod Network for all of the work that they do behind the scenes. And on behalf of Ro Moran, Chino Liao, and Emil Nate, my name is Stan C, saying thank you very much. Stay safe, stay healthy, and don't be a dick. Wrestling Podcast out. Bye-bye.
Peace.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company,